What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto here, coming to you live from the big screen, the big face. We're gonna shrink me down here, move it down a little bit faster. Here we go, here we go, and I'd say probably about there. That's probably fine. All right. Today we're looking at Bitcoin and the crypto markets in general. We're gonna hop into a couple things that I feel like are known, but maybe I just haven't heard people talk about in a while. Um, that I might, I find interesting. Maybe you'll find interesting too. So let's just get into it. Let's cut to the chase. I'm gonna go to Bitcoin USD on TradingView. Go over here. You can see it says index. This one has the other than the BLX. If I was to type in BLX, you get the Brave New Coin Liquid Index. The BLX and the BTC USD Index, those are the most historical. Those are the charts that have the most historical data present that we know of. So that's why I'm using it, because we're kind of gonna go over some stuff from a few years ago, or more than a few years ago. So you see I've got these little lines drawn up. They're not accurate. We are going to mess with these lines. I do have them in different colors just so that we can differentiate them. Let me see. I'm going to make this not dotted. I'm just going to make it a solid line. That way it's maybe easier to see on the eyes. Taking a second. Okay, so what are these lines? What do they represent? We're going to get into it right now. I'm going to move this line because I'm pretty sure that it's inaccurate. I think it actually goes to November, but we'll see. We're on the weekly time frame. Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. You go over here, you click the W, it's 1 week. We're looking at the Fear and Greed Index today. Okay. We're going to look at, you click on it, we go all the way up to the top. You type in Crypto Fear and Greed Index on Google. If you don't know how to find it, you just go to Crypto Fear and Greed Index right there. You click on alternative.me, .me, whatever. You go here. If you're on a mobile, it might have an ad for you. You might have to click X out of the ad before you can actually look at it. But if you're on a computer, for whatever reason, that doesn't happen. I don't know. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, right now you can see we're at levels of extreme fear. We're at a 20 level. Yesterday we were at 21. Last week we were at 23. And last month we were at 28. We have been at extreme levels of fear for a while now. For over a week, but I mean, really, fear last month. 28. That's pretty low. It's pretty low. But we're at 20 now. Lowest read we've had in a second. So let's just go down and look at the chart. This is the 7-day chart. We're going to click on the max, because we're going to look at the all-time history for the Fear and Greed Index, which, by the way, started February 1st of 2018. So now it's 2019, 2020, 21, 22, and we're in September, right? So that's literally like 4.5 years, like almost four and a half years plus a month, something like that, of data. That's not a short bit of time. That's not a long bit of time. So don't hold everything I say to a T, but let's just observe some things that we might notice here. Okay, so we're going to get into what I was talking about with the lines. Now, the way this works, just in short, is anytime that the fear and greed index only reads from a 0 to 100. The closer you get to 100, the more greed we're experiencing. The closer you get to 0, the more fear we're experiencing. It's pretty simple, right? In an ideal situation, in levels of extreme fear, you would buy. In levels of extreme greed, you would sell. That's not always the case, though. In fact, I find that this metric, when you use this tool, when you first get into levels of extreme fear, it might be a good time to just wait before you buy. It's not necessarily the best time. Where when you get in areas of extreme greed, it's more often a good time to sell. But that's not always the case either. You can be in extreme levels of greed for a while, just as you can be in extreme levels of fear for a while, which we've been for quite a while. We're going to go over that. So I want you to pay attention to this line, the 50 line, right in the middle. I like to look at my middles, okay? So right in the mids here, right in the 50s. I get that it came below the 50 here and then it went back up, but that was just a quick little divot, whatever. That was whenever things first started. Let's go to when this really broke away from the 50. Sometime, let's see, I think, when was this? When is that there? March 7th, 2018. March 7th, 2018 is when it broke below the 50. The next time that it came back above the 50, though it was short-lived, the next time it came back above the 50 was April 28th, that's the 28th, it's still below the 50. So let's say the 29th, April 29th, it was above the 50. So March 7th to April 29th of 2018. So March, January, February, March, April, right? That's only 1 month. And it's the beginning of March to the end of April. So let's call that a month and a half. Okay, month and a half. But we're going to look at it here. We got here, it's not precise exactly, but I've got March 5th. If you look at the green line here, the green dotted line, we've got March 5th identified here. Again, when the crypto fear and greed index went below 50, this is the beginning of that, right? This is the week that started. And then all the way to the end of April, April 23rd, that's that week. The next week was April 30th. So I'm including this week here. This is whenever we broke above the 50 level. You can see below the 50 level, we start going down. We broke above it. We're kind of at the top area of this little tiny, short-lived, weak-ass rally right here. And it wasn't actually that weak. I mean, we went from $6,000 to $9,000, almost $10,000. That's a pretty sizable increase. For Bitcoin, that's not something that's like necessarily too impressive. But anyways, that's the time frame. I'm gonna make this line solid too, because I feel like it's easier to see when they're solid. I have them different colors just to show the differences. If they were all green, it might be harder to see. I feel like this is a little easier on the eyes. Plus, I like the colors. It's Rasta, you know. So I've got a yellow line here on May 14th and another line on July 23rd of 2018. If we go back here, right, because this was the first time that we went below the 50 and came back above it. Well, we went back below it May 12th. I had it on May 14th, so you know it's close, you know. And again, the reason why it's going to only be close, it's not going to be precise. We're on the weekly scale, so it's not necessarily, you know, going to be. I mean, I guess we could move this back 1 week because that is the week. May 14th is the week that started, but or not May 14th. What was it? May 12th that it started. So we can include it on that week. That's when it started. Sure, whatever. And then it ended. Not ended. Sorry. The next time we saw above the 50 was basically end of July. July 24th. It's just below the 50, so we're going to call it July 25th. July 25th with this yellow line. That would be this week here. So in the yellow zone here, you can see that we went below the 50 here this week, and we came back above it this week. Okay, pretty easy to deduce. Now, beginning of May, so you got June and then July. That's the beginning of July, and we go to the end of July. That's 2.5 months. The first one was 1.5 months in length. This one's 2.5 months in length. Okay, keep those in mind. We're going to go over all of it. So that was the first time. Here's the second time. We went below the 50 again. In the beginning of August, it was like August 1st, actually, we went below the 50 again. We didn't come back above the 50, though. It was short-lived. We did not come back above the 50 until November. So August 5th, beginning of August, to November 8th, the beginning of November. August, September, October, November. That's 3 months. First one was a month and a half. Second one was 2.5 months. Next one's 3 months. So let's see. Beginning of August. So I got July 30th here. Being that this week is 7 days, that goes into, that would literally go into the 5th of August, I think, on the day. This next one should start, yeah, on the 6th of August. So it was this week that we did go below the 50 on the read. And then November, the beginning of November, right over here. So it is the biggest gap, but so far what we've got is at the smallest a gap of like 1.5 months below the 50, and at the biggest about 3 months below the 50. Okay, kind of easy, right, to understand, kind of easy, I hope. And that was here, right? We're in November. So the next time that we went below it, again, November 15th, right in the middle, we went below the 50. We almost came above it here in January, but we didn't. We actually didn't get above the 50 again until, that's February 16th. So let's see, the 17th, I would assume, maybe even the 18th of February. Yeah, the 17th would be above it. No, the 18th. It was the 18th, yes. So the 18th of February. So again, here we're at November 15th is when we went, or maybe, let's see, November, what day is that? It's like November 10th, November 12th, all the way until February 18th. November 12th to February 18th. So let's draw another line. November 12th, right here, this week actually, that week, we're starting with green again, all the way to February 18th, basically. That's when we started to get above the 50, and you can see we're actually getting some bullish momentum, so that makes sense. People are getting less fearful, more hopeful, and wouldn't you know it, that's the beginning of this little rally we had. In fact, all these little times when we're getting above the 50, it tends to be at times where the price is doing good. It's not necessarily at the bottom, but it's when price starts to do good. This wasn't exactly at the bottom, but it was around the time when price started doing good. If you bought when things first went fearful, you would have been not buying at a good time. Things continued to go down when they first started getting fearful. Anyways, just a little side note. So we got this range here, the last range we did, November 12th, 2018 to February 18th, 2019. November, December, January, February. That's 3 months again. We got another 3-month gap, like give or take a few days, give or take a few days, but it's another 3-month gap. Further, in my opinion, enforcing the idea that we've got a 1.5 to 3 month window where we're below that 50 level. Let's check it out again. So that was here. You know, we went above it February. We didn't really go. We went below it, but it was very short lived. It was very choppy here, and that makes sense. People, you know, when we're doing this, people don't know, is it going down, is it going up? You know, you could be moving sideways, and just everything is convincing people of different things. You know, this is uncertainty right here. Finally, we get this spike up on April 1st, whenever that is. It's like over here. And, you know, we start getting higher levels in the fear and greed index. We actually don't go below the 50 again. Right? I guess we did go below it. We dropped below it pretty hard, but this is just volatility. It doesn't necessarily matter. We didn't have any significant downtrends below the 50 is what I'm trying to get at for quite some time. In fact, the next time that we went below the 50 and we stayed below it for a sizable amount of time, in my opinion, just from this analysis, would be the 12th of August, 2019. 12th of August, you can see it here, went below the 50. We did not go above it all this time. We went back above it, in fact, on the 25th of October. 12th of August, 2019 to the 25th of October, 2019. So let's do that. 12th of August. Where are you at? 12th of August, right there. Oh, perfect. To the 25th of October, if I remember correctly, which would have been this week. Okay, so this little gap here. I can change the colors if it makes it easier on the eyes. We'll make them yellow just for shizzles and gizzles, my friends. So again, you've got middle of August to the end of October. So August, September, October, that's about 2 months. It's actually just over 2 months, 2 months and a week or so, right? Still fitting in that average time frame that we stay below the 50s. Okay, cool. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 iterations where this average time frame is kind of valid. Doesn't matter if we're in a bear market, doesn't matter if we're in a bull market, you know, downtrends, uptrends, whatever, sideways trends, like that's just kind of how it is so far at least. So we didn't go back above it again, above the 50 level until October, late October. We went below it finally in like the beginning of November, November 7th, let's call it, went below it, maybe November 8th actually. And we didn't go back above it again till January 13th, 2020, give or take a few days, give or take a day or two. So beginning of November, November 8th to January 13th, 2020. So let's draw those lines now. So November, here we are. November, I'm going to draw the red one here. And until January 13th, right? That week there. That's when we were below the 50. We began going below the 50, and this is when we came back above the 50 on the fear and greed index. And let's see, November, December, January. That's 2 months, 2.5 months-ish, give or take, right? So I think, in my opinion, that fits the criteria, again, that we're looking for. Oh, let's continue this. Let's continue this. So we were above the 50 for a little bit. We actually didn't go back below it until the end of February, or middle of February, February 19th. We were at 50 exactly. So let's say February 19th, and we didn't go back above the 50 until May 7th. So February, March, April, May. But it was the middle of February. That's the beginning of May, so it's less than 3 months. Still fitting in that category. Let's draw that line. Let's see. February 17th there. That week, I'm going to make this green again just to differentiate it. We like our Rasta. And oops, I'm sorry, I forgot what it was May, right? May 10th. May 10th, we'll call it May 10th. So the week of May 10th would have been here technically. Again, that's another 3-month gap. You can see that all these gaps, though they are different colors, right, they're all more or less in a similar time frame. We had 2 big ones over here, 2 like 3-month ones over here, but everything is within a 3-month range. Anything like from a month and a half to 3 months, generally around 2 to 2.5 months actually so far is what we're getting from the more data we're going through here. May, that's over here. We chopped it up a little bit. I mean, I guess we could say that we went below the 50 here. It's kind of noticeable on June 28th, and then we went back above it on July 21st. So that was only a month there. That's kind of, to me, that doesn't look like the rest of these look, like where it's very obvious. So I'm not going to count this one personally. You can count it if you want to, but I'm not counting it personally. I'm not doing that to fit my data. I'm just doing it because I feel like this chop zone, it's obvious that it's not like these little peaks and valleys that we've been analyzing so far on the fear and greed index. So, and again, we're just talking about the times we're below the 50, not above the 50. I'm not concerned with that right now because guess what? We're below the 50 right now over here. We're going to get to that. So we actually, here, July 2020, if that sounds familiar, the year 2020, that fateful year, this is the beginning of our bull market. What sent us from below 10K, I mean, I guess in July we were literally below 10K and we went all the way up to 60K. And that makes sense because here on the fear and greed index, you can see that we did not go below the 50 again or sustain prices below the 50 for too long, for quite a while. But let's see, actually. I guess we got a little valley here. Let's see what this one is. So beginning of September 3rd to 8th, something like that. Let's say September 5th. We didn't go above the 50 really until October. So September, October, that's about a month. That one, I guess you could kind of count. It is still kind of a chop zone. And if anything, I feel like we held the 40 level. We didn't necessarily hold the 50 level. But so that one's about a month. We came down here again. You can see this nice valley. We went below the 50 on the fear and greed index. We went below the 50 on, let's call it May 10th. Maybe May 12th, actually. We'll call it May 12th. May 12th, we went below the 50. We didn't go back above the 50 again until July 29th. May 12th, July 29th. So May, June, July, it's like 2.5 months again, So May 12th, where are you at? I think I even have that right here, actually. May 12th would have been like there to July, like late July, another little range there. We went below the 50. You can see it's fearful. We're going down. We went above the 50. Now we're getting stronger price actions again. I know if you've been watching this, it's been, I don't know how many minutes now. It's been a little bit of time. But we're getting to the main point. Okay, we're getting to the main point, I promise. So this time here, we're gonna just not look at this. We're gonna skip to the juicy part. We were above the 50 the last time we were above the 50 was, and the reason I'm skipping this part is because it still meets the criteria. I'm just not going to waste some more time by going over stuff that I've been hitting over the head over and over again. So we're below the 50 here on April 7th. Let's say April 6th we went below the 50 of 2022. April 6th. We have not been above that 50 line since then. Since April 6th, the first week of April, we have not been above that 50 line. So that's April. We got May, June, July, August, September. We're at the end of September. So that's almost 6 months. We're almost in the beginning of October. That'd be 6 months. 1 second, everybody. I got a little girl here. I just gotta take care of her. It's her nap time. So what's interesting about this one, if you remember what I just said, I remember. You remember, I remember. So April, so the beginning of April is the first week of April, which we'll call it that. We'll call this here the beginning of when we went below the 50 to here where we have not still crossed above the 50. This is noticeably the largest gap that we have seen. I mean, you can see it here. I scrunch everything up. This is the largest gap. I want to make these lines white so that they stand out more because they should stand out because it stands out to me. Granted, again, what I said in the beginning of this video, this indicator has only existed really for 4.5 years. It's not that long, but it's not that short either. It is something that we can base things off of. There is tendencies within it. I mean, we can see it here. This is the only outlier. We're experiencing it right now. We're in potentially one of the most fearful, longest lived fearful times that we've seen since this indicator came out. Maybe not in Bitcoin's history, but since this indicator came out. It literally went through the whole last bear cycle without having a spread this long below the 50. So what's that mean? What can we interpret from that? Well, I think obviously we can interpret that this is the longest amount of time we've been below the 50. We're overdue for some bullish price action. We're overdue for some greed, right? Now, greed doesn't necessarily mean that the price goes up a lot. The price could go up another $1,000 and we could hit extreme levels of greed. It just depends on what sentiment is, you know. But I don't think it's going to happen. I do think we're going to go on a nice little run, actually, up to, I said it in my last video, but up to like 28, 29,000. I think we're going to go there. What everyone was expecting in this rally, this short little shit-lived rally that was a bull trap, a clear freaking bull trap. I think everyone was hoping that we were going to 28K on this rally, and I think we're finally going to get it. I think we are going to get it. Not just because of this overdue greed aspect that we're due, but because we're kind of double bottoming. People have been very fearful. We're in extreme levels of fear right now. We've been fearful for a long time. But have we moved lower? Have we moved lower? Have we actually given anything in the price action to dictate that we're going to go lower? I mean, we did have a lower weekly close here. We did. But look at this. We're already engulfing that candle. We have 5 days, 9 hours left. We're already engulfing that candle. This lower close, I think, just like we had on the daily, when we had a lower daily close here and it psyched everyone out and then we went on a nice run, I think we're going to do something like that, but not on the daily scale. I think we're going to do that on the weekly scale. I think you know, everyone says that history doesn't repeat itself, it rhymes though. I think that this is, and in my opinion, when you see things repeat themselves, they come in twos. They come in twos a lot. And if it happens a third time, that third time is there just to look like the other two times and then psych you out. So if we get, in my opinion, if we get a lower close the next time, I bet we go down. I bet we go lower for sure. But right now, I think we're just getting the exact same scenario that we had with the daily, where we had a lower close here, and then boom, off to the races. We even had another lower close here, and we haven't actually closed lower than that day since. You know, I think ultimately this does spell bad things. I do think that means we are going to go lower eventually. But the price action, you can't deny price action. And what's going on right now is that we're getting some bullish price action. You can see it more clearly on the weekly. That's why I have the weekly pulled up. But I want to jump back to the fear and greed index. So we've been below the 50 for over 5 months, almost 6 months. That is the longest. It's okay. You're okay, baby. You're fine. You just gotta go to bed. She probably can't sleep because I'm talking. Anyways, this is the longest that we've been below the 50. And while that could mean good things, it could mean that we're overdue for some greed, for some bullish price action to promote that greed. Again, bullish price action isn't the only thing that promotes greed. It's all about sentiment. And we could move up $1,000 and get more greedy than we are now. Like we could literally be up less than 10% and have levels of extreme greed. It just depends on sentiment, and there's a whole lot of things that factor into that besides price action. Anyways, we're below the 50. We've been below it for the longest time. It's been almost 6 months now. Could mean that we're overdue for some greed. I think that's what that means to a degree. But I also think that this is something to not be so happy about, and it is something to actually be concerned about, because I treat this almost like a momentum indicator to a degree, or like a general sentiment indicator, which I think is what it's actually meant to be used for. As I was saying in the beginning, when we get to levels of extreme fear, like in the end of May here, 2021, if we look at this, we can go to the end of May 2021. If you bought here, whenever we got into these extreme levels of fear at 34,000, well, guess what? You missed out the opportunity to buy here at 29,000 twice. It went lower for weeks, for months, for a month and a half actually after that, you know? And was it a good time to buy retrospectively? Sure, it went up after that, you know, it did. But also, Just as another prime example, right here, this week, the last one that we had where we went below the 50. If you bought this week, if you bought the next week, the next week, the next week even, you've lost, I mean, you've lost quite a bit of your position, because you bought at extreme levels of fear, but that doesn't mean that it's the best time to buy. When markets are fearful, that's when we get fearful moves, When markets are greedy, that's when we get greedy moves. And what's a fearful move? It's a big move down. What's a greedy move? It's a big move up. Normally, not always, but normally. I do think we're overdue for some greed. But I think the fact that we've been below this 50 for the longest amount of time that's ever been seen in the crypto fear and greed index's history, I don't think that spells good things ultimately. I don't think that spells that this area is the bottom. We didn't get into like the lowest levels of fear that we've had. We are at higher levels now than we were before, but we're still in levels of fear, no doubt. But I don't know if this is necessarily a good thing. I don't really know. Nobody really knows about this indicator. There's not enough data to make too many conclusions, but I'm theorizing right now that being below the 50 for this long, it says something. It says that we're in different market conditions than we were last time. And there's a lot of other metrics that show that. But if we're in different market conditions than we are last time, I mean, I don't know. I don't think this bear market's over yet, is all I'm trying to say. So we've looked at that. We've looked at like the fear and greed index. We kind of got an idea of that. I wanna go over some more things to kind of help maybe some different things that people don't look at all the time that can kind of help you determine if the crypto market's healthy or not. And to do that, we're not going to look at crypto. We're actually going to look at stocks. We're going to look at stocks. And no, I'm not talking about the S&P. No, I'm not talking about the NASDAQ or the Russell. I'm not talking about any of that stuff. I'm not talking about the Dixie, although the Dixie, I do like the Dixie, DXY. What I'm here to talk about for a new perspective, perhaps, is stocks that are involved in crypto. Tesla, they're not involved in Bitcoin anymore, but I don't know. I think Tesla, I think Elon Musk has made a name for himself. What's good for Tesla will probably be good for crypto. Like they kind of do go hand in hand these days. They go up and down together sometimes, not always. Same thing with MicroStrategy. If you know MicroStrategy here, we've got, it's Michael Saylor, one of the single largest investors in Bitcoin. In the corporate world, I think he is the largest investor, a public investor at least, that we know of. All these companies, eBang here, which is EBON. We've got, I'm going to actually bring this out a little bit. We've got, because this is what we're looking at right now. We've got Riot Blockchain. We've got Bitfarms, Marathon. I don't even know. Clean Spark Inc., SDIG. I just found a bunch of like crypto mining or like blockchain companies, basically. We've got Argo Blockchain here. Bit Digital. This one here is that's not part of the equation. That's actually a pharmaceutical company. So boom. So BTB is the top of the list. Tesla is the bottom of the list. I wonder if I can make this bigger. If there's any way. Maybe there is a way, but I don't know. What I want to get at is, I just gave, before I even pulled out the watch list here, before I even pulled out those stocks, I was giving a reason why Bitcoin could go up, why we might be due for some overtime, or for some greedy time. If you saw my last video, you would have seen that at about 18,000, the low 19,000s, high 18,000s, I was calling for us to go up to 28,000. Here we are, a little bit over 20,000. So far, things are looking good. We're bullishly engulfing this. But besides the double bottom video that I made, we've got this fear and greed index thing going on where we've been overdue, in my opinion, for some greed. And we've also been suppressed by the fear for a longer time than we ever have in this indicator's history. Besides those things, besides using those metrics to determine, like, are we going up or are we going down, you can look here. All these stocks that I just brought up, literally all of them, are in the green today. Literally all of them. Like, there's not a single, the first red one, that's not even a crypto stock. That's not even a blockchain stock or anything like that. It's a pharmacy stock that I don't even know why it's on there. It's probably a POS that I liked at one point in time. But you can see they're all, I mean, the lowest one here is up 0.53%, but literally all of them are in the green. I think it's safe to deduce that if crypto's going up and you have all these stocks, all these public companies, these entities that are involved in crypto, and they're also having a good day or a good week, even if you want to look at all their weekly stuff, like we can go, let's just look at them. I guess this week, to be fair, is down technically, but it's more of a neutral week. We still got 3 days left in it. This week, okay, maybe this isn't as good as I thought it'd be. Okay, this week we're up 3%. This one, it's a little bit green too. This one's a little bit green. They're all kind of neutral, green, green, green. Even though this one's red. Okay. This is what I was gonna do. Okay, so even though they're red, let's see. We've got Let's see. So we've got BTB. Even though this is like a neutral, you got a 0.83% that's in the green here. You can see with the indicators that we've got some bullish divergence forming. This is clearly double bottom-esque, right? You've got a slightly lower low, but it's like double bottoming territory. This is actually an ideal double bottom whenever you go slightly below just to fake people out. If we go back even, you can look that this is kind of an area of support here. It's the middle of this range. I like my middles. I'll say that probably all the time. I really do like the middles. You get the Argo blockchain, clear double bottom in my opinion. We've got 3 days left. It's not that we're engulfing this candle, but we're looking primed to go up from here. We've got bullish divergence on the shorter term RSI. You go to the BTCM, same thing. We've got bullish divergence forming. SDIG, we've got bullish divergence forming on the weekly. These are all on the weekly. Bullish divergence. I don't care if the week's red or green or whatever. This one, I guess to me, Marathon Digital would be the least obvious that it's going up more. But I mean, if we were to measure from the bottom here to the top, I mean, I don't know. That fib doesn't necessarily promote anything. We could be bouncing off the 50, which is significant. I've made a video on why I think the 50 level is significant. Again, the middle, right? The middles are always levels of significance. Not always, but they can be. Bitfarms, we got another double bottom here. It's looking good. A potential double bottom. None of these double bottoms are confirmed yet. Okay, none of them are confirmed yet. Technically, we're forming them. They could go lower. It's entirely possible. But with this bullish divergence here, I think that it's safe to deduce that we could get a bounce here on these. And what's good, what I'm trying to get at through all my babbling, is that what's good for crypto stocks is probably good for the crypto markets, or vice versa. What's good for the crypto markets is probably good for crypto stocks. Even Tesla here, like this, I mean, that's not really a double bottom. It had a nice move up. It looks like we're holding this range. Indicators look good. We bounced off the 50 on the RSI. That looks really good. Honestly, Tesla looks like it might be going up, and MicroStrategy too, right here. We're below the 50 here, but we might have double bottomed on the RSI right here. We had some bullish divergence that led us out of this. If I measured a fib from the bottom to the top here, I mean, we kind of bounced off the 1618, maybe even the 0.69 actually, which I do like the 0.69 as well. Not because I think it's a funny number, but because I do find significance in it, man. Like it's put the 0.69 on your fib. Put it on there. Tell me you don't find significance on it. At least some of the time. It's not all the time. Just like the 618, the golden ratio isn't relevant all of the time, but a good bit of the time, nonetheless. The 618 here, in my opinion, what happened is we broke below it. It's a fake out, and now we're holding it as support. And we're bouncing up above it for MicroStrategy, whatever. I'm going to go back to Bitcoin here so we can look at the main chart, BTC USD index. I'm going to blow it up. Long story short, all that stuff to say, all that suffice it to say, I think we're going up. I think we are going to go, if we took a measurement from the top, the absolute top, to this absolute low of the market cycle, you can see we actually hit the 236. We found it as resistance. I'm going to put, just to show you that the 0.69s might have relevance. I don't know. It's not on there yet. I want to see. I'm going to click this one. Let's see. We're going to do 0.069. Okay. Oops. 0.69 there. No. It should be 0.0. There we go. 069. And you can see here, we actually found support on this line. We actually came down and we found support off this line. We're bouncing off it right now. Kind of like how MicroStrategy closed below the 618, but bounced right off it. It psyched you out. This 0.069, I find similar significance in the 0.069 as I do in the 0.69. Normally, not normally, this is my opinion, my experience with it. If we come up to the 0.236 and we come back down and hold this 0.069 level, which is not a fib level, it's not a fib, 0.069 is not a fib level, it's just a level of significance that I use in the fib retracement tool. It's how I do it. Whatever, you can make fun of it if you want to, you can use it if you want to, I don't care. But you can't deny that we are finding some significance. You can't deny that we literally closed and opened and bounced off it 3 weeks in a row here, closed at it again, bounced off it here. Like, you can't deny that there's some significance here, okay? If you do, that's okay. Stick your head in the sand. I don't care. But what we're trying to talk about is what we're observing in the charts. And what I'm observing is classic fib behavior, where you bounce off of, you reject your first level, and you find support on another level of significance. Maybe it's the 0.1, maybe it's down here. Maybe you don't even, deny that at first. But what's going on is we're stair stepping. We're coming up, we're coming down. The next move would be up to the 382, and then back down to the 236, and then ideally, all the way up to the 618, and then maybe to the 5. Like this kind of behavior, this stair stepping with fibs, I've said it before, it's classic. It's classic, it's ideal, it's textbook. And I believe right now that we're seeing this textbook behavior, this kind of stair stepping pattern. And if you look, the next target, technically the target, if we hold this as a bounce, we're already engulfing this. I think it's safe to say that we are looking at this area, in my opinion, but we're not technically supposed to be excited for the 382 until we break the 236. When we come up to the 236, if we come up to the 236 a second time, we are much more likely to break it than we were the first time, especially because we didn't just bounce off it immediately. We tipped it basically 1, 2, 3, 4 times and then found resistance. I think that it's safe to say that when we hit this 236, we are going to break through it. Whether it's just a little bit and then we come back and find support on it and then go up, it could be something like that. I don't think it'll take that much time. I don't think it'll go all the way till January. But it could look something like that, or literally we could just do a straight move up, like a really quick move up, just like we did with our daily. If we look at the daily time frame, just like we did with the daily, whenever we had this slightly lower low close and we just went straight up on the daily. Now this move, when we put it on the weekly, it doesn't look that significant. It doesn't look super significant. Like this looks more significant than this one, even though that's the biggest green weekly candle we've had in a while. It doesn't look super significant. Being that we're on the weekly time frame, I'm looking for a scale of significance like we had on the daily time frame, but on the weekly time frame. And what would that look like? Like if we had something that moved up pretty dramatically, pretty fast. Oops. It would look something like that. And like literally, genuinely speaking, this goes to the end of October, and that puts us at about 27,000. Maybe we go up to 28,000, 29,000. That's what I'm expecting. And this happens at the end of October. This kind of lines up with what I've been saying. I think by the end of October, beginning of November, Bitcoin will be at a price anywhere from, let's say, 27 to 29,500. Let's say 27. I'm gonna be more precise. 28 to 29.5. Okay, 28 to 29,500. The reason for this is that's where our 382 is. It would not surprise me if we rejected the $30,000 level. In fact, I'm kind of banking on that. Why? Not only is it the 382, which can be very significant resistance, in fact, oftentimes is, or support, but we also have, if we drew a line right here, you can see that it was previously support, significant support even. This support sent us from 29,000 all the way up to 65,000, not just once, not just over here, but twice. We held it as support several times and then went all the way up to new all-time highs twice off of this level. We're about to go up to the 382, that same level, and find it as resistance potentially. That's not a good thing. If we find this level as resistance, if that sent us to all-time highs, this resistance level could send us to new cycle lows. It's not it shouldn't be treated equally like that. I'm just saying that because all this time I have been saying that I do think we're going to go lower than this. It's not going to happen as fast as some people might have thought, or maybe as fast as I thought back here. But again, I have been calling for us to go up for about the last week or two now. Like literally since we were below 19,000 for the second time or whatever. Um, and I do think we're going to get that move. I think we're going to get that move. The difference this time, we've got a double bottom here. We've got bullish divergence forming on the weekly RSI. We've even got bullish divergence, or maybe not bullish divergence on the daily. Let's see. But we're above. There was bullish divergence. Yeah, there was. You can see it. I'm going to delete all these little lines. There's bullish divergence here on the daily. It's sending us up. We're above the 50 on the short-term RSI, which is great. We love to see that. When we're above the 50 here, you can see that this just confirmed that we're going higher, and we did. Oh, so slightly higher, but we did go higher. And we're above the 50 today, right now. If we can close probably above 19,000, I think we're going to be above the 50 level. Maybe it's like 19.5. And I think Bitcoin is in a position to do that. Being above the 50 is a great thing for the RSI, especially when you catch it right at the beginning. Even if you missed it here, you bought this 10% move up. We're above the 50. It's the first day that we were above the 50. If you bought it, you could have made another you could have made another 5% probably on an easy trade, just basing it off the 50 RSI. There's a lot of things, what I'm getting at, there's a lot of things that suggest that we could be overdue for some upside price action. If it isn't the current price action that's suggesting it, maybe the bullish engulfing candle that we have here can suggest that. The weekly bullish divergence can suggest that. The fear and greed index being primed, I think, to go higher. We do have a higher low on the fear and greed index. We could be getting set up to do a higher high. Higher high would be higher than 42. We might get the first time that we've been above the 50 level, and I think we will. Since the end of April, this fear and greed index will have its first read above the 50 level. I don't know if it'll go to 55. I don't know if it goes to 100. I don't think it'll go that high. I think it might be something like these over here, where we went to 65. Here we went to 67. Here we went to 56. It could be something like that, in that range. Get enough people hyped up, psyched up to buy up here at clear areas of resistance, and then the market dumps on them again. If you watched my very first video that I ever made, you would see that we have a 5 wave count currently on, and I talk about it every video because I do think that we're in this. But we've got a 5 wave count down potentially. I know I made one video where I said that this could have been the top of wave 4. Since about a week or two ago, I've been under the impression that that's not the top. We actually might get a top something like that, and then we can come down, maybe something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down. It's a classic move. And to invalidate this wave 4, to invalidate this whole theory of a 5 wave impulse wave down for the Elliott wave theory, what would need to happen is that we would need to go 50% of wave 3. This is wave 3 down, right? Because you go 1 wave down, 2 wave up, 3 waves down. So this is the third wave right here. If we go up more than the 50% line of wave 3, then this invalidates the 5 wave impulse down. And where's that 50% line? It's literally at 29,120. It's literally at that same level, the same exact area that we were just looking at with all this support previously, which could now be found as resistance. So if we can break above that, if we can get to the 618 even if we get to 30,000, if we can literally break, even if it's not a break, but it's a wick above 30,000, we could invalidate this whole 5 wave countdown that I've been promoting since I started my YouTube channel. I don't think that's going to happen, but that is something to pay attention to. You have to be open to the fact that you can be wrong, and I can be wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. No matter how convicted I might be or seem or how many facts I throw out, nobody fucking knows what's happening. Nobody knows where the bottom is. The bottom very well could have been here. If you're buying below 20,000, I promise you in 5 to 10 years, you're not going to hate yourself. You're going to be happy. I think that's obvious. If you're buying below the last cycle's all-time highs, you're probably not going to be upset with the next cycle's all-time highs. Anyways, and not only that, we're below 50% of the current cycle's all-time highs. So there's just a lot of good areas of value that we're in right now. I'm not personally buying yet. I mean, I am long. I do think that we're going up, so I am long. But I have a lot of money sitting on the side. I'm waiting. I don't care. I would rather buy up here, still below 50% of the past all-time high. I would rather buy up here at 30,000, even at up to like 35,000. I'd rather buy up here with more conviction that we're starting a new bull cycle than catch a sucker's rally and not know when to sell because I've got my hopes up that we're gonna keep going higher. I've done this before. It's just my strategy. You don't have to do that. If you have more discipline than I do, maybe you can buy here and sell here if you're disciplined. I'm not trying to say that that's what you should do. I'm just talking hypothetically. Another thing that kind of lines up, I'm gonna remember this yellow line was the 50 and basically the 382 of the whole trend. If I take a line from the top here to this next high here, we can see that boom, these lines intersect when, you guessed it, October. Actually, the beginning of October, which doesn't necessarily line up with my ideas. I thought it would be more toward the end of October, but it could happen. I mean, the beginning of October, that's including this week, that's 1, 2, 3 weeks away. Could Bitcoin move from its current price? Could it move 43%, 45% in 3 weeks? You bet your sweet candy ass it can. It definitely can move that much of a percentage in that little of an amount of time. It can 100% do it. You know how we can verify that? You know how we can prove that it can do that? Because it's done it before. Right here, it even actually moved more than that in a course of 3 weeks. We got from the bottom of this week to the top of this week, that took 3 weeks. We moved 83%, nearly double the current ask of this. The current price range that or the percentage growth that we're looking for. So can it happen? Yes, it can happen. Will it happen? Possibly, maybe. We'll see. Did it happen here? 1, 2, 3 weeks. 54%? Yeah, it happened again. There we go. 3 weeks here? Definitely. It can happen. It's done it before. In fact, it's more likely to do that, in my opinion. It's more likely to have a dramatic move up compared to this move because we've got a double bottom right here. We've got bullish divergence on the weekly. We're above the 50 on the daily. We're actually looking to go above the 50 on the weekly even. If we can get on this longer term RSI, we've got all these bullish things. Most importantly, the most bullish, what I started the video with, is all this disbelief. We got all this disbelief right now. We're in the longest stretch of fear that Bitcoin's been in since this metric has been identified. We're overdue for some green side. We're overdue for some greed. We are overdue to put the short sellers in their place. The bears got to be checked too. Nothing moves in a straight line, whether it's up or down. And we've been moving down for quite some time. But I think it's obvious right now that this range is different than this range already. Before all this downside happened, when we were just moving up, it looked very similar to this range, right? But I see people calling for lower prices all the time. Everyone's been fearful, and we haven't gotten lower prices yet. It's been months, and we have not gotten lower prices yet. Everyone's calling for it. I think it's the time to accept that that might not be happening yet. It still can happen. It doesn't have to meet your exact bill. A lot of people like to call for prices, and they'll be right. They'll be right 100% of the time. But what they won't be right about is when it happens. Timing is some of the hardest stuff to gauge. Bitcoin kind of makes it easy on us. We can kind of gauge market cycles because we have the halving. We have the halving. The halving dates give us time frames to kind of illuminate some clarification, to get rid of some confusion that might be in the markets. And right now, the next Bitcoin halving doesn't happen until, let's see, where are we at here? Ooh, got to keep moving. Got to keep it moving. Let's see here. The next Bitcoin halving won't happen until somewhere, it might be like April of 2024 till like June 2024, somewhere in that range. That's not an exact. I mean, it might actually even be in May, so it could be. April's before May, so April to June, somewhere in that time frame. Generally speaking, when Bitcoin is a year out from its halving, that's when we're in the midst of the next bull cycle. And a year out from that, right, if we go all the way, let's just say at the earliest, let's say the beginning of April, right here, 2023, that's months away, you guys. That's months away. We've got so much time to find a bottom, to move sideways some more, to go up and down and up and down. I mean, to be completely fair, that is 27 weeks. That's about half a year. That's like quite literally about half a year. We have half a year
until we're 1 year out from the next halving, which traditionally has been a bullish thing. People buy in expectation of the halving. They buy a year out. They will buy this early. It's called front running. The halving has yet to happen, but people will buy 1 year out from it because they know that the supply gets cut in half. The current supply that gets put into Bitcoin is going to get cut in half. That's a good thing. And so, it's like the opposite of inflation. That's a great thing. Um, I feel like this video is long enough. I feel like I've bored enough of you. I'm sure that the first part was really hard to kind of get through. But if you watched it, I'm glad. I'm grateful, and I appreciate you. I hope you found some significance in this video. I hope that it sheds a new light, maybe gives you a new perspective. I know I like making these videos because it definitely opens up my mind. I don't want to be promoting stuff or talking about stuff that I think is going to be wrong. I want to promote stuff that hopefully has some kind of fact or some kind of significance behind it. And that's what we're doing. We're just looking for significance in the charts, trying to find out what that means potentially. It's not a definite, it's not a prophecy, it's a prediction. Prediction means I can be wrong. I've been wrong before, I'll be wrong again. So far since I've started this YouTube channel, I've been, I think, 10 out of 10. I've been right. You can look at all my videos. I have been pretty accurate with most of my calls. The only thing that I have yet to be accurate with is this lower low, which I think in time we will get. But at the moment, we're not looking for that. At the moment, even though I think we're going lower, I have the ability that I think most traders should have, is the ability of accepting that you can be wrong, that what you're expecting to happen does not need to happen, and that you need to objectively look at the charts to see what's going on right in front of you to make the best decisions for yourself. And the fact of the matter is, we've got this downward sloping trend line, this resistance line. We've got this area right here, the 382, which kind of lines up with that ideal kind of mark, that time frame, sometime in October. We've also got this previous area of resistance, which we haven't, or support, which we haven't confirmed as resistance yet. We broke below it, but we've yet to come back and touch it, which is a classic move. And we've been in levels of fear below 50 for the longest time that we've been in over 4.5 years. I think there's a lot besides all that too. We've got bullish divergence forming on the weekly. It's beautiful. We bounced off the oversold zone not once but twice. Basically, we bounced off it twice. And here, sure, we rejected the 40. We rejected the bearish control zone twice. That's not good. But we're looking to come up for a third time. That is good. I doubt that we're gonna not break this line if we come up to it again. If we come up to that 40 line, we're going to break through it. If we break out of the bearish control zone, that is a good thing. That's a good thing. And what's good for this is good for this, is good for our pockets, okay? Not only that, but we scroll through all this stuff down here. If you want to add them, go for it. Add all these companies, because these are all companies that are involved with crypto. And at the beginning of the video, they were all in the green. Now I've got Riot at negative 0.6. Doesn't really help my cause, but you can see out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different companies we have here, only 2 of them are not in the green. These are all, and I know Tesla's not a crypto company. I know technically MicroStrategy is not a crypto company, but I am including them on there. If you don't want to include them on there, we can say 9. There's 9 companies, okay? And only 2 of them are not in the green. One of them's neutral. One of them isn't even 1% down, okay? And all the other ones are above 1% or above 2% even. This one's at 7%, whatever. You got Argo, blockchain. Anyways, the markets move together. Things move together. If crypto's going up, it would make sense that these crypto companies are going up. If the crypto companies are going up, it would make sense that crypto's going up. It doesn't have to happen that way. I don't think there's enough data to define that precisely. I could be wrong. Tomorrow we could wake up and we're below 18,000, whatever. And I could be wrong about this short little term rally, but ultimately I think I will be proven right about the lower low. It's okay to be wrong. It's not okay to let being wrong destroy your portfolio. You have to be open to new ideas. If Bitcoin goes below 19 grand again, I'm probably going to close my long. I opened it up just below 19 grand. I'll just close it at neutral, you know. Personally, that's what I would do. That's what I'm going to do. I actually did close it when we went below 19 grand earlier this week. If we go on the daily, because I opened this up, I opened up my long like over a week ago. I opened up the first long whenever I posted my video. I opened it up like literally I think a week ago to the day. And when we went above 19,000 here, I thought about closing it. I didn't. We went just below 19,000 here, and I closed it. I closed my long. We went a little bit lower. I opened up another long somewhere. I think I actually opened it like just below 19,000. It was like 18,900 something. And I'm in the green now. If we go below 19,000, I'm just going to close my long personally. I think things look good. I think things do look good. I'm sorry that I keep talking so much. I'm not sorry, actually. You're here to hear me talk, so fucking deal with it. I love all of you. I hope you have a great day. Thank you for watching my video. If you can leave a like, that'd be great. If you want to follow me on Twitter, BTC Chris at Chris Harris 85. That's me. This is what it looks like. I think the world can and will be better. That's my pin. You know, I do believe that. I think the world can and will be better. I know we're in scary times right now, but with Russia and Ukraine and everything. But at the end of the day, we're all people just trying to be happy, trying to live our lives, and do the best for each other, or for ourselves even, which can be the best for each other if we let it. Enough philosophy. I'll end it on this note. We're kind of double bottoming here. We have a classic cock and balls pattern. It's where you got the left nut here, you got the right nut here, and then we get the penis, right? Classic cock and balls. It's a classic maneuver. It's respected all over the world. All the greatest traders know about the cock and balls. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I've heard about it from one guy who I've watched on YouTube for a while. Eric Crown. If you ever watch him, he's funny. He's great. Anywho, I keep talking. I keep trying to end this, so I'm just going to end it now. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you for coming. I hope you click that like button. Subscribe if you'd like to. Hit the notification bell so you can see all my videos. And I'll be bringing more content. The next video that I'm going to do will probably not be about Bitcoin. It's probably going to be about Ethereum or Dogecoin. So I know I make a lot of Bitcoin videos. I know that that's super sexy. But I'm going to make some altcoin videos here soon. I hope everyone has a great day. I said that a million times. Take care. Be blessed. Do whatever. Yeah.